Hey, it's Dead Steve. Please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. Anyway, so this particular video is about a young lady struggling to find love. I think we got some advice to give her, and the only reason why, or the main reason why I'm doing this video is because I've heard this story so often. So I think we can give some insights. Let's go.
Girl time here because I have a serious question. How are my girls dating in 2024? Because I am not newly single. It's been almost a year and it's been great. But here are my dilemmas, okay? I don't feel like I
Hold on a second. I know I'm stopping it quite early. It's been a year and it's been great. No, let's see that again, because a year and it's been great. I don't know.
How are my girls dating in 2024? Because I am not newly single. It's been almost a year and it's been great. But
and it's been great. It's been great. The only reason I'm stopping and kind of pausing to think about who's been single for a year and says it's been great. I mean, you might have got through it and you're still alive and you're still positive about different things, but if you're going to entirely focus on dating in itself, then for that year, it's been a failure. You know what I mean? It's been some rebuilding. I don't know about... Anyway, let's go.
My dilemmas, okay? I don't feel like I leave the house enough for me to just bump into someone at a bar or a club or anything. Like, we don't do that anymore in our 30s. And then I also am, like, social, but I have to come home and recharge my battery. And I work so much that I'm not out, like, all the time. No guy's gonna hit on me at the gym because that's, like, a no-no, right? And then also...
Right, we've passed quite a few points. I'm gonna have to stop it because otherwise we're just gonna miss the whole kind of the foundations of why this person happens to be single. And in fact, she's talking quite quickly, so I'm gonna reduce this playback speed array. Let's go.
How are my girls dating in 2024? Because I am not newly single. It's been almost a year and it's been great. But here are my dilemmas, okay? I don't feel like I leave the house enough for me to just...
A lot of the women over my lifetime that are single, I don't know, they stay in a lot, basically, like exactly what she just said. So please, this is such a vital video, and listen, if I'm wrong on anything, just let me know in the comments, or if you got a different suggestion or whatever, that I'm happy to do it. My main point is, I say for a lot of I grew up with a lot of women in my family and in the extended family, a lot of ladies, and they just never go out. They never, hardly ever go out at all. The kind of family women, and we just go to family events and they go to family events. They never put themselves in situations where they're going to meet somebody, so they don't. You know what I mean? It's sad. So that's why I'm trying to draw. Listen, whoever's watching this video, step out of your comfort zone and just look at the minimum, look at the previous week and think about how often you went out and the opportunities that you had to meet somebody. In terms of, we're going to break it down bit by bit, but in terms of going out the previous week, what opportunities did you give yourself to go to meet somebody in terms of going out realistically the previous week? Okay, and then the week before that, and then the week before that, and then the week before that. And if you're not talking about lots, then it's not enough, number one. And even if you did go out, right, did you go out with the... You don't have to go out with the intention of meeting somebody necessarily if you're a lady. That's the one I'm giving advice for right now. But at least, did you go out in situations where you could meet somebody? Or were you going out more or less exclusively to catch up with your friends? You know, it's got two different energies. It is possible to go out and catch up with your friends and still be open, like, okay, you know, you still kind of every so often just put your head up and somebody nice, just okay. Sorry, I did a wave then. Don't have to wave, but just a smile. These are the things that a woman who looks as good as this, she's going to know about what powers she has. She's actually quite gorgeous to the point where sometimes these people do videos and I don't know if they're just doing it in order to self-promote. It's that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think this lady would be single if she wanted to be in a relationship. I'm pretty sure she could, long story short. But you know what I mean? Again, so do you go out at all? How often do you go out? In those situations, do they lead or lend themselves to actually meeting somebody? And even if it did, how did you go about it in order to be open and receptive? If your husband walked in the door that day, how open and receptive are you to have met him? You know what I mean? That doesn't mean to make as hard as possible that you're say if you're in a bar, and I see this so often, and I will kind of get back to the video, but it's a very short video. You're in a bar, number one, they're going to be sitting down, so this potential husband, he needs to make a hard approach. He needs to kind of either stand up, being slightly awkward, or sit himself down, and then he's planted, and it's like, okay, I think I've just gate crashed. But not only that, if you are going to sit down, are you sitting down kind of the furthest away from where you can stand, or you can't, you know what I mean, right at the other end of the table, so you've got this physical barrier between this man who wants to talk to you or would talk to you if you're single, but then you're making it as hard as possible, almost like he's got to shout and project across the whole damn bar just to try and chat you up. All these things which are probably going to lead to, even if you're as gorgeous as her, that you don't get chatted up. So please, ladies, think it through about what your end goal is. So if your end goal is to meet somebody, please just help us, please, to facilitate. Let's go. Yeah.
Bump into someone at a bar or a club or anything. Like, we don't do that anymore in our 30s. And then I also am like social, but I have to come home and recharge my battery. And I work so much that I'm not out like all the time.
Obviously, we have to work, we have to pay the bills and things like that. But there's work and there's excessive work as well. So if realistic, of course we need to be in charge of ourselves. I say we have to pay the bills, we want a standard of life, we need to have that drive, and your future husband is going to want somebody who's got that drive and wants to push things forwards. But at the same time, I'm a professional person, we're all professional people, but at the same time you get what you prioritize. You know what I mean? So as long as what you're saying is reasonable and we're not making excuses, then fine. But if at the end of the day, on your last days, if it was going to way it's going to be, your last days on earth, if you're saying, listen, I look back and I'm glad I spent all those days, just myself in my flat or my condo, my studio, whatever it is, I worked my way up the ladder, hopefully. There's no guaranteeing if you did kind of put that time in, it's going to pan out that way. I could have put that time into meeting my husband, but it's me, myself, my four walls, and my hopefully nice studio. And if I have to go on my own, then so be it. Or you can kind of prioritize. This is the other way to look at it, just to balance that equation. And maybe I put that a little bit wrongly, but these are the decisions we need to make, because I think a woman's sexual market value, well established, is stronger the younger that she is. Not that she has to be young necessarily, but the younger she is, the stronger that it is. So the more that she kicks that can down the road and prioritizes things other than having a relationship, the less likely she's going to have a relationship at all, or one of her kind of preferential relationships.
No guy is going to hit on me at the gym, because that's like a no-no, right? And then also, I swore I would never do a dating app. I hate dating apps, but I decided I might have to do a dating app because I don't go out enough to not have a dating app. So I tried the dating app and it was terrible. Like, I told myself I'd give it 1 month and it was just garbage. So I'm just wondering, like,
wow, she gave it 1 whole month. Oh my God, the sacrifice. Oh my gosh. Given everything that she just said about her work commitments and being tired, and what was the other thing? She doesn't really go out that much. In that month that she was on that dating app, how many people that she would have got a lot of attention? She's stunning, she's gorgeous, which makes me think again, this thing ain't for real. This video ain't for real. This appeal that she's making ain't for real. But how many dates do we think she went on in those 4 weeks? Not how many could she have gone on. She could have had we all know most women can get a date every day, back to back, for a very, very, very long time. This lady here, she'll do exceptionally well. But how many dates do we think she went on? I mean, she didn't tell us, so we don't know, so we can only guess. I don't think she went on many, because it didn't sound like she went on many. She just said that she didn't qualify it at all, so we can only guess. But in that month, long story short, a month is not enough. And what's the harm in just staying on a dating app, unless you just didn't have the energy to keep that going? But if she's not going out And as she said, people can't chat people at the gym, and people can't chat people up at the gym anymore because that's, Me Too'd now. You know what I mean? And you can't chat people at work really because that's another Me Too area. So if you never go out, you don't really go to the clubs and bars anyway. Not that that's necessarily the place to meet your future husband, even though it does happen. And you're not doing the online thing, then where are you realistically going to meet people? Seriously, you can't just say, well, I've restricted all my options to 0, or and how am I going to do it? Well, obviously you're not. It's not going to happen. I got to round it off now quickly, very, very, very quickly. Every so often, you may well have heard some stories yourself about people, usually from Asia. They're the only stories I've got from Asia, that's why I'm mentioning it, where they set out and they say, listen, I'm not wasting any more time. I'm going to find my husband. That's her mission in life, and she prioritizes it above more or less all things. I don't think I've heard one story where that doesn't pan out. Now, that's the extreme. But if you're against that body clock, or if that is what your primary goal is, I don't have an example where it didn't work. But it does require some sustained effort. For example, you're not going to come here saying, well, I tried, and that really means that you're on a dating app for 1 month and you hardly went out, and you don't really go out, but you feel like you've tried. You haven't tried. Let's go.
How are you guys meeting men out here? How are you guys dating out here? How are you finding your husbands out here? Is it through friends? Because my friends are not coming through.
Yeah, so long story short, listen, she's absolutely gorgeous. You don't have to be gorgeous, but she just so happens that she is. I just hope that her, and there's so many ladies out there as well, that they can kind of reflect on what they want to achieve, and don't kind of come to a conclusion where they know they've more or less restricted themselves from having any options, and then thinking, oh, I'd like to have the option, I'd like to be dating somebody, but I know they've restricted all the options in order to make that realistic or possible. You know what I mean? So hopefully they can just, and then prioritize accordingly. And that's it. Just to be honest with themselves, and us, man, we need to go out there, man. We need those ladies to turn up, man. So just so we can sweep them off their feet. Anyway, please, listen. I just hope that, overall, I just hope that the ladies out there, the ones that I'm describing, the ones that kind of want to be in a relationship, but they kind of make decisions which doesn't make it possible. You know what I mean? They never prioritize it, they never make time for it. So they either never make time to be met, or even when they're met, they don't really prioritize kind of getting to know somebody or giving it a realistic chance. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the person I've just described. So if somebody fits that bracket, what I'm hoping is that they just kind of have a bit of a reflection and reprioritize things, so they've got time to find their husband, and then time to get to know him, so he potentially has a chance. Because I think when we're very, very young, we can pretend to ourselves that we've got ages to find somebody. And I think, to be honest, men do, because we don't have that body clock, but ladies don't. And that's the bottom line. And anybody that tells you anything different is a lie, or they're playing to the extreme exceptions. I'm not trying to create enemies or anything like that. I'm just trying to give people the truth so they can make choices accordingly. I'm not talking specifically to anybody who's watching this video right now, because obviously I don't know you, but I'm just talking with from complete honesty. And that's it really. So listen, this girl here, she's absolutely super stunning. If she made time in order to meet somebody, and if she doesn't want to go out, then she's got to meet them online. It's got to be one or the other. And I sincerely hope she does. Does she live in London? I sincerely hope she does. And then if she does, then I hope she, gets through the chaff, and she kind of selective enough that she isn't wasting time, and she finds her hobby if that's what she's looking for, companionship if that's what she wants right now. Anyway, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Daddy Stephen, I am out.